Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the final qualifying matchup before the Rugby World Cup. Samoa going head-to-head with Belgium here. Two sides that are sitting 2 wins from 2 throughout the qualification tournament, but whoever wins this contest, they will go on and they will take that last spot in the Rugby World Cup. And alongside that, it is also a little bit more of an added bonus for whoever wins this game, as they will be taking part in the 12-team tournament next year, going alongside the main Nations Cup taking place for the top 12 sides around the world. But that is a little bit of a confusing tongue twister there. We will jump into the table, make it nice and easy. Samoa sitting there 10 points at the moment from their first 2 games after the win over the Namibians, as well as the win over the Brazilians in week number 1. Whereas for Belgium, they have also got themselves 2 wins from 2. A great win over Namibia in the first contest and a last-minute thriller up against the Brazilians. Got the Belgians over the line, and they now go head-to-head with what is considered as their toughest challenge to date in this qualification period of time. Looking through at the odds, as well as what is to come. In fact, we will go to this one first. This matchup, as you can see, the Belgians come in as the $10 underdogs after Samoa had 2 great wins under their belt for their first 2 matches. I should mention this is the first time that we've heard the Belgian national anthem on the channel as well. This is actually our first Belgian match for the Kiwi Lads as well. But these are all the results that we have seen thus far, and also the win for the Namibians just before they were able to get themselves the win over the Brazilians, who actually haven't gone that bad. Other than that first match up against the Samoans, they are a little bit rusty in that contest. 48 points to 10 the score in that one, but overall 2 very strong looking starting lineups. I'm looking forward to seeing the dangerous Samoan backline in action. They have, of course, got their great players back who are missing from the Pacific Nations Cup, as well as the qualification initial period of time. Hard to imagine anything but a Samoan blowout in this one, says Justin. And where can we watch? It is on Rugby Pass TV. Is your best bet for being able to catch this around the world. If you are in New Zealand, it is on Sky Sport 1, which is how I'm watching it at this point in time. I wish I could watch this game, but I'm at work, says Big Red, and I hope it's a good one. And also, I'm waiting for the game from Indonesia, says Bruno. So it is greatly appreciated you being here. Come on, Belgium, says Hey No there, and hi Hamish in chat. So what is your connection to Belgium? Hey No, I know that you've gone for a few underdogs along the weekend, so maybe this is another situation like that. And we have got there, will you show the live stream? Sadly, we aren't able to show any match footage or audio due to licensing, but it is on Rugby Pass TV, like I mentioned, and that is a free option for a lot of countries around the world. I hope Belgium will win, even though it's a small chance. Says Myro in there as well. Yeah, they were talking about it. Samoa, 10 World Cups in a row they have been at, whereas for Belgium, they have never been to a World Cup. The last time that these two sides played was back in 1989. Samoa were able to get themselves the win there. I think they should be playing more often up against each other, and hopefully this game represents that well. We see a relatively competitive contest from these two sides. I will mention Samoa making 5 changes in their starting lineup for this contest, and some of those due to injury. And also I will mention there is a change up front. Bruno Verlecken, he comes in as that starting number 1 for Belgium after a red card that we did see in their last game. Just want them to make the Rugby World Cup because it's probably the best chance yet for Belgium, says Haino. And there as well. But the Samoans, they have finished the pre-match ritual, and we are almost underway in this contest. Do let me know your score predictions for this game, ladies and gentlemen. Samoa trying to make it 10, going to 11 World Cups in a row. I think any rugby fan wants to see Samoa in the Rugby World Cup, but it would be cool to have some new teams in the draw, says Justin. And with the extended amount of teams that we are seeing, it went from 20 to 24. We are already seeing the likes of a Zimbabwe. We're seeing Hong Kong, China in there as well. So I think that even if Belgium were to come up short here, the good news is we've at least got some new sides in that Rugby World Cup. It feels a little bit weird, though, knowing that Namibia are not going to be a side that make it to that World Cup after being a bit of a staple in the competition for such a long period of time. 30-27 to Belgium, says Aino there, and 64-3 to Samoa, says Sunny Listen. That's the score prediction there, so going with the big one-sided affair. I know that for the bookmakers, or the betting odds of this contest, they're saying Samoa to win by about 28. Somewhere around there is what is expected, but we'll wait and see whether or not that is the reality. We have got there as Australia, or if Australia lose this week, What will their ranking be? I believe they would still be 7th or 8th, depending on whereabouts it is. And also who else wins and loses, because you do a video explaining the draw. We'll look with the playoffs, says Hano. So we probably will end up doing that for the draw itself. I am going to be doing a live stream when the draw is announced. And I have got like the graphic and everything like that I'll be able to put up to let you know exactly who goes where, because it's all well and good explaining it now, but a lot of people just want to see where the teams are actually going to be first, if that makes sense, rather than the format itself. Good morning, Amish, the number one commentator in New Zealand. Hopefully Belgium will give the Pacific Island boys a run for their money today, says Ron, but it is kicked off by Belgium. We are underway for this contest, nicely taken by the Samoans, with Theo McFarlane, the captain of this side. I cannot find the match on Rugby Pass. Could someone send a link? So it is on Rugby Pass TV rather than Rugby Pass. That may be the one little thing that you got to change there. Jacob Umaga with the wide cut-out pass going into the hands of Va'a Pilo Maliko, a man who did make a name for himself on the 7 circuit for the Samoans. And of course, the 7 starting up next week. No Belgium will get sorted. Says Sonny, listen. Now we go there, Sonny or Australia will smash the wretched French. Well, if they win by 16, it knocks France outside of the top 6, fun fact, for that Rugby World Cup draw. Oh, that's going to be an awkward one in the air. Players colliding hard, and it is going to be the penalty going the way of Belgium in the first minute of this contest. A pretty tough landing there for Murik. Yeah, no, he's not feeling too flash. The referee just saying you win today, and the player, as he is coughing, kind of gave him a bit of a nod. Do any of the Belgian side play top-level rugby? They are scattered around the place, this Belgian side. Of course, they do normally play in the European competition for international, but there are a couple guys from that top 14. And also, that's an awkward collision in the air. I think Va'a Pilo Maliko just got it completely wrong. Ended up headbutting. And I saw some first-place teams will have a difficult quarterfinal because they are probably playing each other. And yeah, with that round of 16... there are certain positions on that draw that look a little bit more challenging for the sides, but it's all part of the fun. Of course, of a World Cup, looking for the rolling maul here, Belgium. Renier. It's that ball at the back. This one's starting to move forward. Actually pretty nicely. Berger just waiting back, allowing his Belgium forward-pack to go forward, but now that ball trapped in there by Samoa, who shut it down and get themselves the scrum. We have got the ASO if Belgium win. There will be an upset. Absolutely. They come in as $10 underdogs for this contest. The Samoans are expected to make it to their 11th Rugby World Cup as it being streamed. It is on Rugby Pass TV. But depending on what country you're in and your broadcasting options may mean that you aren't actually able to watch it. Geographically, some countries are restricted, such as New Zealand, seeing as it is on Sky Sport 1. It is Le Belgique, or Belgique, I should say, from Yo. And what do you think of next year's games? There's quite a few of them, isn't there? It's going to be weird. I'll be honest, don't get me wrong, I'm excited for the Nations Cup, but I do think you're pretty much doing a prelim of the Rugby World Cup, and then a couple years after the World Cup, we will have another one. So, I don't know. It feels like it's going to take away the prestige of the World Cup a little bit if you're having the top 12 sides play off in a World Cup type format before the World Cup. And as it only Springboks playing next week, other than, of course, the URC sides and then also the 7s. But yeah, Springboks only international match that has taken place, but the penalty goes the way of Samoa at scrum time. I'll be ready to kick this one towards the touchline. Rodney Ono, I thought he was an absolute standout in that last contest for the Samoans up against Namibia. Controlled the game from that 10 jersey. Want Belgium to win, even though I know nothing about them, says Tyrone. Hi, how are you doing today? Says Yako. Doing very well. Excited for this contest. Whoever wins this, they go on to that World Cup, which is just a massive achievement for whoever gets there. But line out throw around the halfway line for Senarevi, starting as the number 2 in this contest. Now a nice rolling maul starting to shape up here for the Samoans as well. A couple Belgian players going down in the background, including Leclerc, that number 3 jersey. We have got there, how are you feeling today, Hamish? Are you better? As in, better than last weekend or this last, the one before that? Going off, backline movement here. Samoa, a lot of space to be able to work with. Going to the right-hand side. And it's going to be in the hands of Akiong. Offload center, it is a drop ball from Jacob Umaga. Samoa, they were only 5 metres out from Belgium's line, but making the mistake with the handling. That is something that's been said often throughout this year of Samoan rugby. Looks like maybe a bit of a shot to Sonen's face here. Oh, there is head contact. Oh. Okay, incidental contact. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this round of the Rugby World Cup qualifiers because we can clearly hear the TMO and referee communication. And it's actually kind of cool to listen to, the way that they've been able to describe why things are and aren't penalties. Had a dream that Georgia Miller was 44 weeks pregnant, but couldn't have the baby for another 3 weeks, as there was some final. That sounds very dangerous, so luckily it was just a dream. But Springboks score 67-17. That's a big score. I think if South Africa brought up 40 points, they'd be pretty happy, let alone over that 50 mark up against the Irish at the Aviva, a location where they haven't actually won since about 2012, I believe, or somewhere around there. Ball about to be fed in by Belgium, in this case with Hulienberger. Yeah, Belgian number 9, but it is a big push at scrum time from Samoa. Front row stand up. But it is just on the side of the Belgians first. It is going to be Vaquier. Now rolling back again. Berger will look to clear this one from inside. It was zone 22, getting a decent angle on it as well. It's at about 30 metres out from the line. We haven't beaten Ireland at sea level in so long. Says Haino there. Yeah, so I think that South Africa would be happy enough with a 1-point victory in that contest. But, any win's a massive bonus. Do you think Springboks will win on Saturday, says Mohadin? I think it will be their closest game yet. That's not very hard to do when their closest game at the moment is 15 points. And that match up against the French, going off to the left-hand side, is going to be Jonathan Tamatine. Now to some of the great big forwards that the Samoans have got in the fallback, and there is going to be another penalty advantage. Time going against Van Bost. Now offloaded, beautifully done from Samoa, but it's another drop ball for Jacob Umaga. He's caught the dropsies in the early stages of this contest. That's now 2, very sleepy start, says Katzenel. Pilo Maliko apologising to his teammates, although he was not the man to have the drop ball. How many red cards will they get? Are we talking about this game, or are you talking about South Africa? It looks like the shot has been called by Samoa. They know that points per se, you don't have to worry about bonus points in this type of matchup. You just have to worry about getting the victory. Should be a nice, easy one out in front of the post for Jacob Umaga. Had a bit of a shaky start to this contest, South Africa. I'd like to think they won't get more than 1. I think that 2 in a game would be thoroughly impressive. How the hell did we come back from Scotland, says Katzenel? Yeah, you gave up on them, didn't you? You said you were leaving early. Little did you know that Argentina, as soon as that yellow card happened for the Scottish, they were back in that game well and truly. But now Umaga ready to line this one up. The fact that Samoa needs to go through these extremes to qualify when the tournament has expanded makes me sad. They should be one of the teams that should be there based on the quality of their players, says Xavier. And I've mentioned how it is unfortunate for Samoa with how many extra games they've had to play here for this World Cup qualifying. But at the same time, I kind of like it because of the fact that, don't get me wrong, if they lose this game, it is terrible for Samoa. But they have come into this tournament as favourites, and they do look like winning all their matches in qualifying. And if they hadn't, they only had 1 November international, and that was up against the Italians. So for Samoa, the benefit they've got here, even though it's been a long qualification process, is they get to play an extra maybe 5 or 6 games of rugby that they wouldn't have initially been able to play. So they are getting to develop a little bit more depth in their international side. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird win-lose situation for Samoa, but of course they cannot afford to lose in this matchup. And currently Belgium on attack. Nice sling and pass on the outside going into the hands of De Koenig. That number 4 jersey, little bit of a slip there for Remu. There are 2 brothers in this Belgian side in the 10 and 13 jersey. And Townsend out, says Haino. It's an interesting one because I feel like he's been on the verge of being out for a long time. And even though Belgium played rugby, I thought they were only interested in making chocolates. He's had another rugby's come a long way in just the last few years. They have been doing pretty decently in the European competition. But Pilo Maliko now wrestling down the other Remu brother. That one being Matthias. That's going to be play on. around the halfway line, although just a little bit too high, and the challenge there from the Samoans. Didn't think of it that way. Makes sense that they play more games there, Xavier. Yeah, initially when we thought they were already going to qualify, and I saw that they only have one match in November up against the Italians, I just felt sad, you know. Samoa are a side that in an ideal world would be playing 10 test matches a year. Whereas with those ones and the Pacific Nations Cup, they were probably only looking at about 6 or 7. You know, a couple extra bonus games up against the Chileans, and then one up against Namibia. That's a big wide cutout pass attempted by Belgium, but it has gone into touch, but they will go back for the initial penalty in favour of the underdogs. And it's going to be against Bernini with a slightly high shot. He did try and almost hold the guy up, but he did go around the neck. That's always going to get you in a little bit of trouble. Chance to kick this one towards the touchline from Remy. They're just going to show the replay here. It was initially jumped on by Berger, and then Bernini. Yeah, initially I think he was trying to lock in underneath the ball, but did end up locking the Belgian player in a guillotine. It's probably an understandable penalty there, but 22 metres out from the line now. Renier ready to throw this one in. The breakdowns is a strong area for Belgium. Yeah, their loose forward trio have been pretty much known throughout this competition for being able to get the steals. And also that is one thing that when you look up this Belgian rugby side, it often gets praised. The work in the breakdown from Van Bost in that number 7 jersey. Also, they have got their Gerati in the number 8 jersey. I believe he is playing for this contest. He is wearing the blue headgear. May get himself possession very soon as Belgium move up to 20 metres out from the line. And that number 6 of Belgium is very good. Yeah, that is Dikumba, I believe it is. Oh, bit of wrestling going on in the breakdown there by the looks of it for Belgium and Samoa. Looked like it was Miracle Fire-Langi who was starting stuff. The Belgian fullback, but currently 12 minutes into this contest, and Belgium once again find themselves 20 metres out for the line. That's a hospital pass, and that's a penalty. And this looks like it's about to be a fight between these two sides. This may be a red card for Samoa, because he did not really dip into that challenge. Right, both sides are just being separated here. Emotions are running high at the end of the day. This is for the final spot in the Rugby World Cup draw, but have we just seen that massive mistake coming from the side that are considered favourites in the Samoans? It looks like Belgium's number 10 is very slow getting back up, as you would be if a Samoan comes and tries to take your head off. In fact, it is actually the right winger who has gone down. Right, they're checking the severity. That was supposed to be my Welsh accent, which is where this referee is from. When Fabian Holland was 10, his parents took him to Murrayfield to watch the All Blacks play. Bowden Barrett was playing in that game. That was in 2012. Sears Novmum. Okay, Samoa number 7. That is Nico Jones, who could find himself in a little bit of trouble here. What's something that could cost Belgium game? I heard that they got good players, but there's something to it. Says Mark. Oh. Okay, it looks like it's definitely at least arm on head, if not head on head here. Okay, I think that Nico Jones is probably going to get a yellow card for this. There's a lot of contact, but he was dipping, as well as the Belgian player also did slip and fall slightly down a little bit. I emailed YouTube to ask if they can add the score prediction feature for us viewers. The bragging rights will be so fun and funny with the big games. See Xander. And now you can't do anything there. Yeah, I think there's probably still shoulder to the head contact. This sounds like it is still going to be a yellow card. And surprised the Dutch or Germans haven't broken through. Played in both countries since the 60s, says JB. And I do know that Germany, they are considered Division 2 now in the 7s, which is a pretty massive one for them. And mitigation due to dipping, says Justin. Yeah, that's going to be the yellow card for Nico Jones, who does apologise as he makes his way off the field. Son of Michael Jones. 10 minutes now to wait to find out whether or not that will be upgraded. We have good there. The rule must be you only get a red card if there is visible blood, says Xander. Although Belgium, they'll be happy enough with that. They will be able, of course, other than the man who took the headshot. But they'll have a man advantage for the next 10 minutes. And they also have a kicking opportunity towards the post here, as Germany's still sponsored by the Capri Sun guy. Says Justin. Maybe. I'm trying to think of their sevens kit. Capri Sun. I think they sponsor Stade Francais, don't they? For some reason, when I think of their kit, I think of Capri Sun. 1 second, I'm going to look up Stade Francais' kit while this man is lining up the kick. Stade Francais kit. They got Capri Sun on the middle of it. Can have a quick look. They did have it at one point. I don't know whether or not that's still their main sponsor, but they did have the big Capri Sun across. Belgium getting that kick over. And that is now going to make the score sitting 3-3 between these two sides. A great strike from Matthias Remieux in that number 10 jersey. Oh, number 12. What's going on here? Referee was just talking there to the TMO, and they're saying that they're going to have a chat to number 12 for the Samoans. I think. Is that what they were saying? And doesn't appear to still be the sponsor. Says Justin there, what's the minimum amount of players a team can play with? 4 matches called off, 11 versus 15, says Xander. By that stage, you probably got to take consideration into player safety, because you'd assume if they've had that many cards, then something bad has happened. I mean, we've seen a few sides go down to 12 before. Belgium need a try during the Simba period to stand a chance, says David. And yeah, you'd assume later on in the contest, that is where we should see Samoa getting better. That is going to be a Belgium knock-on from inside of their 22. Pressure from Alatoa in the tackle. Hello, mate. Hope you're doing well, says Sebastian. Hope you are doing well too, Seb. We are excited for the... I was going to say the Romanian match this weekend, but did Romania play their game last weekend? They beat Canada, didn't they? The Romanians, or am I thinking of the wrong game? And whereas Germany and all of this, is it really that bad, says Katzenel? Not necessarily. I think that they just, throughout the qualification tournament, were just a little bit too low down in the rankings, but they are going to be taking place in Division 2 of the Sevens, like I mentioned, and normally, you know, you look at someone like a Spain, and what their 7 circuit has been able to do for the population and the popularity of rugby in general. I think that Germany, if they can have a good 7s season, they might find themselves doing the same thing. Now Jonathan Tamatene ready to feed this ball in to the Samoan scrum, which has taken place 10 metres in from the far touchline, 15 metres out from the line. Beat Canada, lost to USA last weekend, and they have Uruguay up next. Says Sebastian. Yeah, that game may be at 4 a.m. or something like that New Zealand time. I know that all those matches are overlapping with the big international fixtures too, which is very annoying because then Sky just don't bother showing them. I think Stress think that as long as the team has 5 for a scrum, they play on, so the lowest number needed is just 5. Says Justin. Yeah, although if you get to that stage, I'd say that referees possibly would decide to call it off. I know that has happened on lower level games before. You know, as soon as you have a few red cards, a referee does have the control and the ability to say, nah, we're finishing this. It normally happens in lower league games when there's a big fight, like a big punch up. Normally the rest will go, nah, we're not doing this anymore, and just calling it off. Now asking for stability at scrum time. Samoa scrummaging with just the 7, but Lalo Milo now receives the pass from Tamatine off to the right-hand side. Miracle Langi has also dropped the ball. Now, tell you what, this has been a bad trend for the Samoans all throughout this year, and this is the worst possible game to be making those kind of mistakes, definitely for someone the caliber of Miracle Langi. And let's go Belgium, and let's go from South Africa. There's Stormzy there. Okay, we just heard it there from the TMO. It is going to just be a yellow card because the initial contact is on the shoulder, rises up to the head, so it will remain as a yellow. Wide kick, that ugly kick too, says Justin. If you're talking about the Belgian player, it is because they were inside of their own 22, and I think they just wanted to get out of there. And it turned out to be a pretty ugly looking kick, but it went probably further than some of those picture-perfect box kicks downfield that you see from players. 40 metres out from the line at the moment for Belgium. They won't mind that too much. Oh, they almost managed to be competitive at the line out, just missing a little bit of a lift there. for the Belgian player. Now playing halfback, Jonathan Tamatine goes off to the left-hand side for Samoa yet again, sitting about 40 metres out. Michael Alalatoa chopped down, getting to start in this game rather than making his way off of the bench. Another step and a great low tackle made by Valekin. Now Failangi dragged down once more. He was able to hang on to the position that time. Advantage in favour of the Samoans. Jonathan Tamatine off to the right-hand side again. Rodney Ona goes in behind to Lalomilo. A one-on-one tackle from Vakie. And they're going back for the initial penalty advantage while Samoa are a man down. This might not be a bad time to just take another 3 points. Only sitting those 16 and a half minutes in. This game will fly by, definitely in the second half. I feel like that's when we're really going to see the big decisions made by these two sides. Pretty handy players off the bench, the likes of a Tuna Tuitama for the Samoan. Sama Malolo's just an absolute tank at 16. And for the Belgians, a few unfamiliar names for myself, but I'm looking forward to learning who will be those big impact players and maybe who could be a match winner for this Belgian side as well. But Jacob Umaga getting ready to strike this ball towards the posts. And like I mentioned, the shot clock is on. They've got a total of 60 seconds. He is down to 30 now. But he will use up every possible second of that he physically can. Get it closer to having his teammate Nico Jones returning. Umaga at the moment, he's sitting 1 from 1 off the kicking tee. In fact, both fly halves are for this matchup. Umaga, he will certainly have the distance. Has he got the accuracy? No, he doesn't. He has missed it away to the right-hand side, I believe it would have been for Jacob Umaga. Now it is going to be the 22 dropout for Belgium. They will not mind the fact that the Samoans have missed out on points opportunities. Definitely in this type of matchup, like I mentioned, it doesn't matter if you win by 1 or win by 50. Either way, it's that spot on the World Cup draw for either of these sides. Big long kick downfield from Remu. Miracle Faialangi moves up to the halfway line. Tackle low by De Koenig. To the left-hand side, Jacob Umaga with another drop ball. That man has dropped the ball now 3 times. Tell you what, that's not the start to the match that he would have been after. He has now missed a kick. He's sitting 50% there. Quite a disappointing game so far. Give us some tries, says David. Yeah, hopefully we do get a few. Although I do think both sides may be a little bit more defensive-minded in this contest just because they won't want to be the team that ends up conceding that all-important try that could lose them the game. Yeah, I think we're going to see second half. It's definitely going to be when this game opens up. Largest population in Europe. Rugby has no alibi. They should be world-class already. Says Katzenell. I mean, sometimes it just takes a little bit longer to develop, though, doesn't it? Depending on the country that is involved. Like, we've seen some great sides or great potential in certain countries that have just never happened. You know, you could go as far as the extent of Japan at the moment. They're a side that everyone thought about 3 or 4 years ago, right, they're going to reach their peak in the next couple of years, and they just haven't yet. You know, it takes time. Sometimes it can take 20 years, sometimes it can take 50, but eventually, you know, when you get that big opportunity, you don't want to blow it. Someone like a Chile, perfect example, getting to that last Rugby World Cup and now being able to qualify for another one alongside that second-tier Nations Cup that has taken place next year. Hi, Hamish. We're watching you on my aunt's 75-inch TV. Is the game even on Supersport? You look clear, says Cool Story. So I don't think it's on Supersport, but it is available on Rugby Pass TV, which I think would be your option for South Africa. The first quarter already finishing now for these two sides. 3-3 at the moment, the way that it sits. Samoa unable to get themselves a try like they have throughout their last 2 matches, including that first game up against the Brazilians, where they were able to really run away with that game. That's actually been the only one-sided game that we've witnessed, though, throughout this whole competition. Every other game's been within that kind of 10 or so points. That's probably the best thing about the Nations Cup, is it includes the bottom 12, says Hayno. And there as well now, getting the rolling maul going on. Oh, accidental obstruction there for Belgium. So it is going to be the scrum feed now for the Samoans. I believe it was Jean-Baptiste de Klerk. Got his run wrong. It is Vincent Tuchuka, number 17. Says AJS. Not quite. Close to Tuchuka. I believe it is Tolzia in that number 17 jersey. You had me sitting there for a second thinking that there was a typo or maybe that he had somehow made his way in the lineup. And Belgium have wasted the sin bin, says David. Yeah, though it's not quite over yet. And to be fair to Belgium, they've had to be within their own half for a majority of this 10 minutes. So Samoa have played it very smart in terms of getting downfield and just keeping Belgium in the wrong end of the field. Ready to feed this ball in. Jonathan Tamatene for the Samoan 7-man scrum. They were trying to win the advantage, not quite getting it in the end. And we've got their Fitai. Hopefully I've said that correctly. Hopefully you are also doing well. What do you think of the quality of kicking for points, penalties, conversions in recent years? Players don't look like they put any effort, man. Yeah, it's a tricky one because depending on the player, sometimes it just comes off the boot so nicely. You know, you see some pure strikers around, and then you see someone, unfortunately, I'm going to use this as an example. You see someone like a Bowden Barrett who just looks like he never kicks one clean, but then eventually they go over every once in a while. But yeah, I feel like it's a bit of a lost art. There's normally a specialist in every side that can nail 90% of his kicks, but some teams it's only that 70%. Ashes watch along on Friday. Not sure yet. Unfortunately, it will all depend on schedule as well as copyright. See, the only problem is if I do the Ashes on the first day, I won't be able to do them on the second day, which would be a bit of a shame. I hope that's going to be a double blow of the whistle. And Hamish, who have you got winning this? Love your Springbok prediction with that crazy South African. It's unconventional. Oh no, yellow card for Belgium here. And unconventional in who he picks. Find it great how you two do it, says Sean. He gets a lot of stick on those prediction videos, which it's always unfortunate because like we'll talk for a couple hours after filming, and he's a really nice fellow, but I think people misunderstand his almost brashness in terms of his selections. Like he'll just go with whatever's on the top of his head. He'll go with it, and if he gets it wrong, he says, yep, nah, got it wrong, but at least, you know, he tried to get some sort of thing going. I was at 4 offside, says Justin. Yeah, I think it was repeat infringements there from the Belgians. We're going to see it now. Oh, no, in fact, my apologies. That was for a no-arms tackle. He did try and chop out the knees of Lalomelo, so that's actually why the yellow card did come about for this Belgian side. Does New Zealand have any kind of ice hockey league? I think there is ice hockey, but I don't think there's like a special league or anything for it. I heard Kurtley Arnson will miss Saturday's game. Yeah, by the sounds of it, he failed his HIA. But every single lineup prediction that I've seen, including like the actual news outlets, have him in the starting lineup. So I feel like that's where we got thrown off a little bit. But yeah, if he failed his HIA, I made one just recently where I went with Ethan Hooker out on that left wing side. But now, Jonathan Tamatene back across to the left-hand side. Samoa now with the man advantage after surviving the 10 minutes with 14 on the field. They can now try and make the most of facing off against a 14-man Belgium. Now Michael Araratoa goes across to Rodney Orna. Another good tackle made by de Klerk. Now sit in the 10 metres out. Ben Nini decides to go for the pick and go. 7 metres from the try line now. Ethan Hooker will monster Tommy O'Brien on the wing. That's not fair, says AJS. And let's go Samoa, says Glendon in there. And go Manu Samoa, says Fa'afitai. Now searching for this ball. It's taken a little while to come out. Nickel Jones has been told to use it. Almost runs into the referee. And the penalty goes the way of Samoa again. Starting to add up here with the discipline of Belgium, letting them down. I like your lineup with Moody and Hooker. But I would have Thomas Tatoy and Boa Fenta starting. Says Haino, yeah, I made a bit of a curveball with Clubber Kanye, to be honest. Like, the chance of him actually playing is probably pretty slim, but I just decided because of Andrew Porter's scrummaging record like Clubber Kanye just for that little bit of extra size, even though he has lost a bit of weight. So Thomas Tatoy probably weighs about the same of him at the moment. It wasn't fun watching Kerwin. He was almost in tears, like he said himself. Says, cool story. And also we have got the new channel member, Yutuva. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated you hitting that button. You now have access to the emojis on the channel, so be sure to use them. We have Rugby World Cup 2015. We were seated among Samoa players and families post-match. Spend time with us. What a pleasant group of people. Says Petrus, looks like the change is about to be made here. This is a very early switch, and I don't think this is because of the yellow card in this scenario. And not often you see Ireland on the plus 6.5 on their own turf. Says Emil, yeah. It's definitely an intriguing matchup because I've seen a lot of confidence from both sides. But, yeah, it's going to be a very tough test match. And the good news is we're only about a day and a half away, I think. Or only a day away or so. Wait, what day is it? 2 days or so away from finding out who's in the lineups for the two sides. Good luck, Manu Samoa. God bless. Says EP there. Currently 26 minutes through in this contest. Still 3-3 between these two teams. Jonathan Tamatine ready to feed this ball, and they are close to the Belgium line. And another penalty going the way of Samoa. They are winning the scrum battle at the moment. Our refs these days are useless. That last try in the England game, Henry Pollock deliberately blocked Anton from stopping the try, so it would be obstruction. Had to be the box immediate red card. Or had that been the box immediate red card? Says AJ, yes, yeah, there's just a lack of consistency at the moment, unfortunately, which, you know, it does make it frustrating. Hey, wait, what time is it? Just summed up my life with a 5-month-old baby. Says Justin. Yeah. Currently 5 meters out. Looks like Samoa have eventually gone for the scrum. Yeah, I'll be honest. I've been up since yesterday, so I kind of lost track of the day midway through. I know that today is now Wednesday here in New Zealand, which does mean cricket practice tomorrow. Yep, that's correct. As long as I don't end up missing cricket practice. We got the final, or hopefully a final. We got the semi-final first. The ABs have the Hobbit 15. Says JB, not that I know of. I also haven't seen the Hobbit though, so I probably can't comment on it too much. Samoa plays very boring rugby. I'm rooting for Belgium. They don't deserve to be in the World Cup if they're playing like this. Says Samoa on POV. Although, I assume you're saying it's boring because they haven't scored any tries yet. Right, Samoa on POV. But currently for Samoa, if you're looking through at the sides in this competition, Samoa, their points differential is plus 56. They've scored, I believe, about 6 or 7 more tries, if not more than that, than any other side in this competition. So, you know, like, it may be a low-scoring one at the moment, but these Samoan boys still know how to play, and they just need to find a way of hanging on to the ball. Now, passed out wide, chance for Pilo Maliko. He's dropped the ball as well. They've now dropped the ball about 5 times when they've been within the 10 metres of the Belgian line. And ABs need Timothy and Jordan on the wings. And Geordie back to fullback. They need power and size. Says AJS, and Belgium will win. Says Gaming World. Tell you what, with the handling the way that it is at the moment for the Samoans, you may be right. They just haven't been able to hang on to the ball, keeping this one very close. Now, this one kicked downfield. It'll be nicely taken. A simple question. Do you think South Africa could beat Ireland with 14? I think I answered that question on the lineup prediction just a couple days ago. This is an embarrassing standard so far, says David Kelly. That ball's going to be stolen in the breakdown by Belgium, and a penalty awarded there too. It's hard for Samoa players to rep their country if their clubs are not releasing them, says Tim. That is true during the other stages of the year, although at this stage they have got players from the Premiership, from the top 14, from Moana Pacifica, of course. But yeah, much more stacked Samoan lineup than what we are used to seeing, definitely throughout that Pacific Nations Cup. But this team came in as $1.03 favourites. But the thing that hasn't been hurting them isn't the players, it's the handling. You know, Pilo Maliko, 2 metres out from the line, dives close to the try line, drops the ball. Jacob Umanga, he's already dropped the ball 3 times, whereas he would still be regarded as one of Samoa's better backs that they have been able to select for these matches. Who is the heaviest back today? I haven't actually seen the numbers, and I'm not sure whether or not they actually put them up for that first scrum. But Belgium now, they've got themselves the line out. This one's going to be about 25 metres out from the Samoan line. Still 3-all between these two teams. That's going to be nicely taken. The number 4 jersey from Toon, the Koinink. And the guy tries to out Rasi, 3 hookers, 1 prop. Says Scotty there. Now going off the left-hand side. It's a nice low tackle made by Samoa, although Belgium are on the hot attack here. It is going to be Maximilian Hendricks in that number 5 jersey. Do you think New Zealand Rugby should change their rules to be able to select overseas players? I feel like they should have changed it a while ago, but they aren't going to, or at least they will try their absolute best not to. Razor's been pushing for it throughout his whole time. The coaches before that, I believe, were pushing it as well. Can't see Bongi playing, says Scotty. The only reason that they would play Bongi is probably for that experience. That was the main reason why I put him as my guy off the bench. But, more than likely we'll see Johan Rubela alongside Stenenkamp and Wilco Lowe, just because that's what they've been doing consistently. But yeah, Bongi's actually brought his form back a little bit. Who said Belgium was going to win? Have you ever watched rugby, says Jacques Smith? Well, currently it's 3-all between these two sides, and Belgium are about to take the lead with a kick at the posts. I feel like most of those who have watched rugby wouldn't have thought that Samoa would even be in this qualification tournament, as they would have thought they would have already booked themselves a spot in the World Cup. Manu Samoa need to settle the nerves and keep to the basics. There's Joyous there. And that's a decent excuse for Razor to have, actually. Says cool story, and let's go Belgium. Says Samoan POV. Now lining up this kick, Matthias Remu. He is sitting 1 from 1 so far today. And the 1 more minute remaining of the yellow card. So neither side actually making the most of the yellow card 10-minute periods. Lining it up, Remu. And he's got it over. Belgium take the lead in this contest. 6 points to 3. And good boy, Amish, I yield, says Jacques. And put some money on Belgium. Can see Samoa losing. I don't actually think on the New Zealand TAB you can back a side in this qualification tournament after the match starts. But I know pre-match, Samoa were expected to get around a 20-point or 28-point win. And also they were $10 underdogs, the Belgium side. Apparently they sit with the lead. Although Samoa seem like their one handling error, if they can avoid the handling error that is, they will probably score on attack. My internet's dying, the game's unwatchable, says Kitsenel there. See, some people are probably not having Wi-Fi issues, and they'd say the same thing at the moment. It has been a frustrating watch, I'm sure, for both of these sides. But kicking it downfield now, Belgium from inside of their 22. A nice clearing kick. Jacob Umanga waiting for this ball at the back. He's had a hard day at the office when it comes to trying to catch that ball now. Kyong wrestled down around the middle of the field. In fact, this time it was Milani Nanai trying to get that steal on the breakdown for Belgium. Rugby League's boosting their international teams to level the score. Says team there. Now Belgium will just leave it all out there. Says JB, well, that's all they can do in this scenario. You know, they've worked so hard to get to this point, and now they are 1 hurdle away from getting to that World Cup, which would be absolutely massive for them. Jonathan Tamatene rolling this one back, told to use it by the referee as we reach 34 minutes through in this match. A good driving tackle by Theo McFarland. Being told to use it. Where can we watch the match? Where are you watching it? So I'm watching it on Sky Sport 1 here in New Zealand, but to be able to watch it in certain countries around the world, it is actually a free option on Rugby Pass TV. So I'd recommend checking that one out. And now going off to the left-hand side. So what you're saying is go watch your lineup video to find out. Okay, I've never seen one. See, it's a cool story. Yeah, if you are a fan of Vic and Vern, he does pop on there, Vic, for that one. Gets a lot of stick from the viewers, unfortunately, as a Samoa's B team. The thing is, it's not really. I would call it like a halfway between A and B side for Samoa here. Like, looking through at this lineup, you give it 2 years, it's probably not a mile off what we will see for the World Cup. But they're just not quite doing it at the moment. It's the handling. I'm telling you, every time that they drop that ball, a little bit more confidence does get drained out of the Samoan side, and that little bit more disbelief comes in. Did the South African teams leave Super Rugby weaken the ABs? Did the South African teams leaving Super Rugby weaken the ABs? I would say, don't get me wrong, it probably would have been better for them to be playing them consistently, but I also do think it's a timing thing. You know, new coach, certain players retiring around that same time. Like, you look at the ABs of the Rugby World Cup in 2023, and you look at all those guys who are no longer playing, Sam Whitelock, Brodie Retallick, Aaron Smith, just to name 3 that would have made a big difference, you know. So I think timing-wise hasn't helped, and you could say it plays a little bit of a part, but also at the same time you could say it's just coincidental. Oh, that's going to be a penalty now going the way of Samoa. I don't think they'll take 3 points here. I think they have to go for the corner. Ma'anonu going to play for Samoa for one last World Cup. How old would he be? He'd be 45 years old, right, at the time of that World Cup, or somewhere around there, maybe even older. I'd love to see that. Is that possible? Says cool story. That one's going to be kicked into touch. So far, Belgium, they've conceded 7 penalties compared to the Samoan 5 penalties, which is actually relatively high for that side as well. But you just get that feeling at the moment that whoever sorts everything out, they'll probably end up winning this game. You know, whoever has the least penalties and less handling errors, they should have this one in the bag. Now, Nico Jones, 20 metres out from the Belgium line. They've got 4 minutes remaining here for Samoa to be able to break through and get themselves a try within this first half. Tom Brady was 45 when he retired. Says cool story. Now waiting for this ball to come out. Jonathan Tamatine told to go to the right-hand side by Michael Alalatoa. Now Ben Nini on a step around. Belgium defending nicely at the moment, though. They are not leaving big gaps in their defensive line, which means that Samoa have to work that little bit harder. Big run from Nico Jones, almost sneaking through. Tamatine going off to the left-hand side in the hands of Jacob Umaga. Hangs on to it this time. Samoa is going to win 100%. It's just a matter of when they decide to do so. Says Sonny. Big clean out there from Michael Alalatoa. Now back across to the right-hand side. Miracle Faialangi. Not quite breaking through. And that is going to be the penalty going the way of the Belgians. Now, I do know already, Sonny, that the Belgian side has scored double the points that you were predicting. So I guess, do you have an updated score that you think Belgium will be able to get for themselves in this one? And we have got there, Danielle is in here. I'm not too sure what that does say. But currently 2.5 minutes remaining and Belgium get themselves the penalty. It just seems like at the moment, we're right on the verge of either someone scoring or someone getting probably another yellow card in this matchup. I just said there, the 5th side in Rugby Europe for the Belgium side. That one has gone into touch. Tintin can't save Belgium, says Sonny. Yeah, beautifully done there. That was actually Julian Berger who got in there. Thanks, man. Rugby Pass TV worked for me. Enjoy the game. Says Mike, no worries. Hopefully you also do enjoy it. I think second half, the game's going to open up a little bit more than what we're seeing in this first. Well, Belgium are a great soccer nation, and it shows here. Says Katzenell, why does it show here? As in, like, the athlete side of things. Belgium to get a try before halftime. Says Haino there as well. But now, another line out round the halfway line for Belgium. That one wasn't too straight, but Samoa didn't throw someone up. Little chip in behind from this Belgian team. It does sit up nicely. It's well taken by Vakie. Going off to the right-hand side, the man who did get himself a yellow card, Remu. That 13 jersey. Off to the left-hand side once more. Nice little shuffle and a step. Samoa please win, or Samoa must win, says Edward. Yeah, I don't even know where Samoan rugby goes from here if they lose this game. You look at them on the Rugby 7 side of things, they are already considered Division 3 due to losing a playoff game in last year's qualification matches. So it would be a bad time for Samoa. I can tell you that right now, but it would be an absolutely incredible one for the Belgians, or the Belgians, I should say. Belgian beer and a schnitzel would go down a treat at halftime, says JB, and only points are from kicking the ball. Says Katzenel, and that's going to be another advantage in favour of Belgium, so they may be able to add an additional 3 here if they don't break through and score off this play. Back to the right-hand side again, chipped in behind, and they will go back for that penalty. Who do you see as the biggest threat? The Springboks repeating, says Belinda. I don't really know, to be honest. Because I want to say France, but France, outside of a World Cup year, don't do anything to prove that they should be. So, honestly, at the moment, and this one's going to cause controversy, I think England, at the moment, are the most likely to, based off current form, I would say. And this would be 21-0 to Samoa about 5-10 years ago at this stage. It would be 21-0 to Samoa had they been able to hang on to the ball. And Springboks are mud. I just got rules changed to suit their boring style of play, says Sonny Listener. I mean, they've scored more tries than anyone else in international rugby this year. So if their play style was boring, then what does that say about the rest of the world? The fact that they can't score as many points as the Springboks have been. France going to break South Africa, says Katzenel. And also what other games will be available on Rugby Pass. They have a few random games thrown in there. England agreed, and I'm Welsh, says JB. Yeah, there's just something about this English side at the moment that they're progressing very nicely, and they haven't got a huge amount of old players in the mix. At this stage, Belgium, they have missed that one away to the side, lining it up for the extra 3 points, can't add it. World Rugby is bad right now. Says Sonny, listen and be honest, who had the score 6-3 Belgium at halftime? Lol, says Justin, absolutely no one. I can tell you right now, because I was looking through all the odds before this contest, for Belgium to be leading at halftime and Samoa to go on to win the game was paying $21 per dollar. Now, I don't think anyone was backing it, which was why the odds were probably so high, should have gone to the corner. Says, hey, no, although to be fair, the Belgian kicker, he was sitting 2 from 2 so far today, and so he probably would have backed himself to be able to get that one over and make it a 6-point lead for Belgium, but currently it is anyone's game. Going into the second half, All Blacks with the right players selected will win the next World Cup with ease. But the question is, are they going to select the right players? Because currently, I think a lot of people would argue that they haven't got their selections right in recent times. Good luck on both teams, says team there. And why did I feel like I was watching a soccer match? Says Samoan. Yeah, it's a pretty low-scoring game, which I don't think many people would have been anticipating for these two sides. Samoa dropping the ball at crucial times. Absolutely. And they've done it far too often throughout this match. I think that Belgium have given away about 7 penalties, or maybe 8 now. Ruben Love is the answer. Is he? I feel like Ruben Love at the moment, because of the lack of minutes. For me personally, I was picking him as the 15 in the contest. Just because you want him playing confidently, and maybe he would be more confident in his natural position than his secondary one. And Australia will smash France, says Sonny. See, I don't know. Australia's sitting 0 from 3 at the moment in their November internationals, getting beaten by Italy, Ireland, as well as the English. So, not exactly the greatest run for the Wallabies at the moment, whereas Samoa's strength and fierceness, they've shown some good physicality, but I think that it's just the dropping of the ball so often just takes the wind out of the Samoan sail. And Love must start versus Wales. Yeah, I agree. He has to be somewhere in that starting lineup. Beauden Barrett, he had a bit of a thigh injury, so I don't even know if he's going to be playing in this match up against the Welsh. And saying England, you are heading for a storm, says Belinda. I like to see teams like Belgium, Spain, Portugal, Georgia being part of the rugby revolution. We need to grow the sport, says Belinda, and should have put 20 on it, Hamish. Yeah, but I didn't think it was going to happen. Although to be fair, I did say to my dad about it, I was like, that might not actually be a terrible thing because Samoa may start slow. Now, I didn't think they'd start 3 points slow. I was thinking more like a like a 15-12 or something at halftime. But yeah, it's certainly not the game we expected. And not really, I'll be honest, in terms of the excitement levels, I'm hopeful for the second half. Because it's currently 5:20 a.m. here in New Zealand. We need some tries for these two sides, even if it's just to give us a bit of a teaser of what we will see from one of these two teams in the World Cup when they do qualify. But 40 minutes is all that separates these two sides from a World Cup competition. Belgium, Spain, Portugal need Pro 14 types of competitions. See, Samoa and POV. Yeah, I do think that the extra added bonus for these two sides, not just qualifying for that World Cup, but also getting to take part in the secondary tier of the Rugby Nations competition next year, is absolutely massive. You know, going up against sides like Chile, like Tonga, pretty much everyone who's qualified for that World Cup outside of whoever wins this game, that would be the final spot. How cool is that Zimbabwe is back in the Rugby World Cup? Absolutely massive for the Zimbabweans. Of course, it's a bit of a shame for Namibia not being there, seeing as they've been such a mainstayer. But it just shows the competitiveness of international rugby, and the fact that nothing is certain when it comes to qualification. Look at Samoa in this scenario. Great game for Belgium. There's Tyrone there. And it's like an amazing game, but it ends with this exact score. Says, cool story. Yeah. I'm expecting a very interesting second half. Samoa, I can't imagine that the coach can say anything to them but, come on, boys, that was pathetic. Because the amount of times that they should have scored, or at least had a very good chance to be able to score and weren't able to because of one knock on or one little mistake, I just feel like if they can find a way of getting a couple little things right, they'll be a lot more dangerous in the second half. Samoa head coach has not done anything good for this team since he started. I really wish Belgium win, says Albert. There are a lot of people hoping to see Belgium go to that World Cup for their first time ever. Well, they have 27-30. Belgium needs a lot of points in the second half. Yeah, it seems like at the moment both sides may struggle to get to around those mid-20 kind of regions, but the thing is, there have been close games in this competition, and then a side can run away with it near the end. So maybe this game is going to be like it. I'm going to show it here. These are the score lines that we have seen. Hang on, we want this one. So Namibia are the only side that have been in single digits for a match in this competition. Now, I don't think that either of these sides will remain in single digits. I can see Belgium either taking a few more three-pointers or managing to work their way through for a try, but, you know, it's an interesting one, and it probably tells you how well Belgium are playing, but also how poorly Samoa are playing. When you see that Samoa beat Brazil by 38 points, Belgium beat them by 3. Now, Belgium did have a red card in that contest, but I think that at the moment, Samoa are underperforming in this matchup. We'll have to wait and see whether or not they can get it right, because this is literally like 40 minutes, do or die for these two sides. I can tell you right now, one of these two teams are expected a lot more to go to that World Cup than the other. The Samoan players are out here thinking they got pressure on the All Blacks, the amount of errors, says Robert T. And where are they playing? Is it wet? So they are playing in Dubai. It is a late night game in Dubai, so maybe a little bit of slipperiness of the ball. Joel says, Brandon, doing not too badly. It's currently 5:24 a.m. and I have not slept since yesterday. But other than that, we're not doing too bad. So what you see is now the depletion of players and why they now a trash team. Says Samoan, and the problem and the struggles of Manu Samoa is due to rugby league. Too many Samoans are choosing the other code and thought Samoa was a much better team than Belgium. Well, they were supposedly on the betting odds. Are considered as the $10 underdogs, Belgium, but you wouldn't think it. The way that they've been playing at this point in time, but a great win for Namibia. Says Shaden there, yeah, good win over the Brazilians just before for Namibia. We saw some great work from Lupsa off the kicking tee. And yeah, just a good way to finish out the competition for Namibia. They knew going into that game up against the Brazilians that they could not qualify for the World Cup, but to be able to get a win to close out their year, I feel like is a little bit of an added bonus for Namibia there. Now they've got enough talent in that Manu team, for Belgium at least, says Robert T, and thanks to the commentary, Hamish says Chuck T, no worries at all, and second half of this game is not an absolute mile away. In fact, we'll try and get the exact time. I would say we've probably got about 5 minutes or so before the second half gets underway. Looking forward to the rugby this coming weekend. Samoa must be the winners here, though, says Brandon. Yeah, plenty of matches taking place this weekend. These are all the games that are happening. I will mention they're no longer 8 days away. That is because of when it was initially made in terms of that picture. But, looking through at these games, we are going to be covering Wales versus New Zealand. We've got Ireland versus South Africa, France versus Australia, Scotland, Tonga, and England versus Argentina. The week after that, I am going to be covering that Wales versus South Africa match as well. It does overlap with a little bit of the sevens, so we'll be trying to balance out everything there. But, yeah, some big games for the lower ranked sides as well. Spain versus Fiji could be an intriguing game. The Spanish have come a little way in terms of their level. They are just showing some of the statistics from this game. I just want to go back. Handling errors, 4 from Samoa. 3 of those were Jacob Umaga. The other was Va'a Pilomaliko. So I would have to assume that they've actually had more than that. If those are the ones that I can list off the top of my head. Belgium have made 70 tackles throughout that first half. Samoa's scrum has been dominant. They've been able to get themselves a couple penalty advantages from that one. But that hasn't made the difference in the scenario. 7 penalties each. And possession territory relatively even for that half. And we have got there, Namibia should play small countries like Germany, Spain, Netherlands, and Zimbabwe. Says Shaden there. And also we have got there, I know they lost them all, but good showing for Brazil. Says Justin. Yeah, they were actually a lot more competitive in the competition than some thought. Definitely after the way that their first half went. Their first game went. Initially they were beaten by Paraguay, who were going to be in this qualification tournament. Then Brazil took that spot back. And yeah, they've done all right. I feel like it's a little bit similar to what we saw for the Women's World Cup side for Brazil, how they actually went above and beyond and did much better than some did first anticipate. As a Samoan, this game is breaking my balls right now. Says All's Day. And this game has set the trend for the cards this weekend. Says Haino, and Go the Box, says Brandon. And did you ever know about Samoa pushing England to the limit in 2003 World Cup? England were fined £100,000 for having 16 men on the field. Says Cool Story. The thing is, though, Samoa, even looking at that last Rugby World Cup, it's crazy to see where they are now compared to where they were then. Because they had a close game up against the Argentines. They actually pushed England in the last World Cup when the two sides went head-to-head. But, yeah, this one just very different than what some were thinking. And 16 Men says Haiduki in there as well. And we have got the hello mate, note scoreline. Well, not the scoreline I was expecting. Yeah, I don't think anyone was really expecting the Belgian side to be leading by the 3 points at this stage, but Namibia has old players. Says Shaden. And England will probably beat Argentina. South Africa will beat Ireland. Says Bruce. And there as well. Yes, a massive match is coming up this weekend on the channel. And then next week, it seems like it should be less hectic because there's only one game of international rugby, but then we've got the URC. It is starting back up, so we are going to be covering that on the channel. Alongside that, we've also got the sevens that is happening too. They should have beat England in the Rugby World Cup, but the TMO stepped in, says Chuck T. Yeah, there was a lot of controversy around that last World Cup when it came to the TMOs. Unfortunately, but it does seem to be the trend at the moment in the world of rugby that they will be heavily involved in most decisions that are being made out there. I've actually really enjoyed this round of the Rugby World Cup qualifiers, though, because I don't know whether they've done it on purpose, but you can actually hear the TMO. So it's quite cool being able to hear the TMO talking through, the big collisions with the referee saying, nope, that's not actually a penalty because this player was moving or he was ducking down and there's nothing cynical there. And Samoa management is horrible. Says Chuck T, yeah, their bench is going to have to make a difference here in this contest, because if they don't, and I know that you're talking about the management is in up above the players, not so much the game management, but they're going to need something big. What are Belgium's qualification chances as it stands? Well, they're leading this game. So if they were leading at the end of the match, they would qualify for the World Cup. They are only 40 minutes away from reaching their dreams of making it to that World Cup competition. But 40 minutes is a long time in a game of rugby. And I can tell you right now, the Samoans, as bad as it sounds, they would be more than happy to ruin those dreams for the Belgian side. And Samoa run away with it in the second half, 31-9. Says Johan there. Yeah, see, I feel like that's what everyone's expecting, isn't it? They're expecting the Samoans to come out and fire here for the last 40 minutes. But it just doesn't seem to be happening. The new handicap system in World Rugby is here. Springboks will start the game with 14. Says Duffy Duck in there too. And Namibia is so dead. And also, but it will be dream come true for Belgium to qualify, says Shaden. Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Or not so much weird, but it's just, for one of these two sides in Belgium, this is the biggest dream for a lot of these rugby players, to be winning this game and to win it at the end. Whereas for Samoa, this is, if they don't qualify, this could be the end of rugby union in Samoa as we know it. So that's a lot of pressure. That's all I'm going to say. And now 40 minutes just about to get back underway. How's it, Hamish? Wasn't expecting to see you before the weekend. Says Yanko there. And supposedly the Samoan Rugby Union is very corrupt, which has significantly hurt their team. Yeah, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on. The Samoan players look tired. Says Chuck D. Yeah, they just seem to be lacking a bit of spring in their step in that first half. So they do have to find it, and they have to find it quickly. I don't know what would have been said at halftime, but you'd have to assume that it wasn't very nice for Samoa. They would have been told, look, if you guys want to go to that World Cup, you're not playing like it. But the only 4 handling errors, it did say in the first half for Samoa. I believe that number was actually closer to 7 or 8, because we could name the 4 off the top of my head, with 3 being Jacob Umaga and then the other Pilo Maliko. But I believe there would have been a few in there as well. Like they are saying, the biggest 40 minutes now for Samoa and for Belgium, who is going to that Rugby World Cup. It is a good tackle made on the Belgian number 8. And it's going to be Jarati in that number 8 jersey. High stakes, low urgency. And this decides who goes to the World Cup. Neither team seems to have read the memo. Says Katzenel. And now kick downfield from Belgium. That's a good strike of the ball. Nicely taken at the back though from Jacob Umaga for the Samoans. Looking to run to the short side, getting himself slightly isolated. Tamatine gets to the breakdown quickly. Now Samoa looking to link up with, I believe that would have been the big prop, Luma Siteli. Like they're saying, there's plenty of experience out there on the field for the Samoan side. Michael Alaratoa being one of them. Belgium must qualify to make history, says Shaden there. Now backline again for the Samoans. Just aren't quite getting that same attacking presence that they've had in some of the other matches of this competition thus far. They have been told to use it. Samoa will win, then have a few beers. Says Sonny, listen, it's going to be kicked high from Jonathan Tamatine, knocked on now by the Belgium winger. That would have been Murek, who wasn't able to hang on to it. Now back across here, Samoa looking for the cross kick, but ball goes straight to Belgium. Luckily for them, though, they will go back for the scrum feed to Samoa, or else that could have been a Belgium breakaway try. And sometimes with a kick, they would rule it as advantage over. In this case, referee did go back. Like they're saying again, Samoa, this is their big moment. They have been dominant in the scrums. Belgium make history and Samoa Rugby go bust. Huge stakes, says David. Yeah, see, that's the thing. If Belgium lose this game, it would be very unfortunate for them, but it's not the end of Belgium rugby. For Samoa, if they are to lose this game, it just feels like it's the beginning of a massive decline for Samoa as a rugby nation. Definitely after what has happened in the 7 side of things as well. I feel like that hasn't really helped. And now ready for the scrum feed. They just mentioned there that it sounds like Samoa are about to make 3 changes in their front row. Although I don't know why you would, because at the moment the scrum has been dominating. That is another penalty advantage in favour of the Samoans. Ball on the inside, Lalomilo, and a big bump off from Pilomaliko for Samoa. Now Tamatine going off to the left-hand side. Bit of a bounce pass, rough one there, and they will go back for the penalty once more. This is, I believe, where Samoa have to kick for the corner. 3-pointers here. I actually don't know if it will win you this game up against Belgium. Yes, it will put you close. Rodney Yona points for the corner. Theo McFarlane says the same. And this is the change in mentality for Samoa. Perhaps that is something that the coach mentioned at halftime too. TC's having a rough game, says Justin there. Yeah, Lamusatelli. The thing is, in general play, he's been a little bit shaky, but then at scrum time, once again, that is where Samoa are really keeping themselves in this game. Belgium ready to defend this line out. Now going to the middle, nicely taken by Ben Nini. Offloads it back to Jonathan Tamatine. And that's another knock on. This time from Lalomilo. It was a hospital pass, but the Samoans have blown another try-scoring opportunity. Now little chip attempted in behind from Belgium. Awkward bouncing ball cleaned up well by Lamosatelli. It's going to be an advantage over. Going short side. Nanai tries to grab her. He drops the ball too. It's almost becoming comical at this stage from the Samoan side. They've forgotten that they've got two hands to try and catch a ball. Now nice stepping coming here from Belgium just inside of their own 22. Now Samoa got left out the Nations Championship as well. Says Tiger 11, yeah, because it is based off the top 12, and then also alongside that, if they were, yeah, like you said, if they lose this game, they're out of that too, and that's pretty much, like, that's Samoa done for. Once again, a disappointing bit of attack there from the Samoans, but 45 minutes through, there is still time. It seems like they are going to be leaving it to the last minute. Even Belgium's defence, they made 70 tackles throughout that first half, so that should be starting to tire them out, but Samoa, they just haven't been able to get consistent phases for long enough here. Looks like a 5-man line out here. It looks like it's close to some subs being made. They have got the benefit of a huge amount of experience off the bench. Not so much for Samoa, but just in general, that is for Scott Seo. Now nicely taken by Samoa. 40 metres out from the line. Nico Jones showing a little bit of intent. Now Tamatine back across to the right-hand side, looping around, selling a dummy from Rodney Yona. Big collision with Vakie, who has stayed down after taking quite a head knock in the tackle. Now let's go to Manu. And there as well now, skip pass goes to Theo McFarland. Tamatine again, Lalomilo, skip ball on the outside to Miracle Faialangi. Now Lalomilo thought about going quickly, decides to leave it for Tamatine. Now Patelo Mapu, he's been nowhere near enough involved in this contest. A chopping tackle by Belgium, now looping around. Lalomilo tackled low. Belgium's defence in this game, I'm trying to work out whether or not it's that Belgium are defending that well or whether Samoa are doing that poorly on attack. It is one of the two though, and maybe a little bit of both. Could be regarded now. Short ball, Tamatine, another knock on from Samoa. And it's going to be kicked downfield from Belgium. That ball bouncing back inwards rather than towards the sideline, but it is going to be available. Samoa kick the ball into touch and they lose 60 metres in that attacking play. Looks like the changes are about to be made now for the Samoan front row. We will see Sama Malolo, Scott Seo, and also in that number 18 jersey, Tai Tuimonga. Samoa can't catch a ball, says David. And yeah, that is one thing that in rugby can be extremely handy, being able to actually catch. And fight Belgium fight, says Rugby ready. It's both. Belgian defence is reacting quickly, but nothing special from Samoa on attack, says Justin. Okay, on the body, not on the neck. A Samoa Kings a knock on, says Derek. Yeah, at the moment they are knocking on all the way to missing out on a Rugby World Cup qualification spot, and Belgium slowly getting closer. Now, they've got themselves the attacking chance 45 metres out from Samoa's line. Bit of intent shown there. Benini told to get out of that. Trying to go forward now. Renier, 42 metres out. Samoa Rugby Union isn't very good. This will destroy their country spirit, says Evo, and tuned in late. Why do Samoa? Oh, another penalty going the way of Belgium. Now, why do Samoa have such a dominant scrum, but their backs are non-existent? Jitters or bad coaching, says Jan. Yeah, see, that could also be a little bit of both. In that regard, I want an advert for the sport, says David. I don't want Belgian rugby to grow as much as I want Samoan rugby to survive, if I'm honest, says Yanko. Samoa just lacking motivation, says Sonny. Now Belgium, they have changed their mentality in this game as well. They have gone to the corner here. And we're about to see another change being made. This is, I believe, Taleni Su, who's about to make his way on. Needed as well for Samoa at the moment. They just need something to change. But, yeah, their backline just doesn't seem to have any sort of go forward. And I don't want to blame an individual, because I feel like there are a few, but it just seems to be as soon as the ball hits Lalomilo, it doesn't go wider in this contest. I don't think we've really seen Milani Nanai get possession. Here comes a rolling maul from Belgium. They've tried it a couple times already and it hasn't been successful. This time they are getting wrestled backwards. They're being told to use it once, and now Rainier breaks away. Thought about the offload. That's a knock on. In fact, it's a penalty now awarded to Samoa, who can get out of their own 22. Big call to go for the corner there for Belgium. Yeah, maybe they got slightly lured in here to the way that maybe the Samoans were starting to go a bit more aggressive. Whereas in this scenario, maybe Belgium should have just gone for those 3 points, added the additional ones, and moved on from there. I know most Samoans and now do not care due to Toa Samoa is the number one team. But for me, Manu Samoa will always be Samoa's number one team, says Samoan. Oh, okay. Referee here, the TMO, has said after Samoa won the penalty, 16 and 18 both come in and push, which is I believe the TMO has said he recommends they change the decision and give Belgium the penalty for Samoa starting the pushing. They playing like this, I want Belgium to win, says Samoa POV. Right, the penalty is going to be reversed due to Samoa's ill discipline from the bench guys who just made their way on. Go Belgium, go French rugby with you, says Felipe there. And Belgium just need to take the points and put pressure on Samoa, says David. And now this is where Belgium once again have a decision to make. Oh, they're going for the corner again here, Belgium. Samoa gifting them a golden opportunity, pushing, may as well throw some punches as well. And I think their handling and discipline is down to coaching, says Patrick there, and corner, says Haino. What he believes they should do, and that is exactly what they have decided here for this Belgium team. Looks like another change has been made. Taleni Siu has made his way on. Big call, says David. It is definitely because last couple of times it has backfired. That's a huge shot coming in on De Klerk. He's driven backwards. Belgium now, this is almost turned into a rolling maul. Samoa coming in with a bit of a counter ruck. 10 metres out from the line. Belgium, if they can find some way through, this would give them a massive lead in this fixture by at least the 8 points. Holding low for Samoa. And we have got their corner again. Big Brass, after being shut down multiple times in the maul. Says Justin and Samoa frustrated. Says Rugby ready. And Rugby is a matter of discipline and Samoa lacking. Says Derek there. Now low tackle made on Geratin. Across again to the left-hand side. Lalomilo trying to get in the breakdown and steal the ball for Samoa. That ball's loose. Picked up now by Belgium again with Remu. Now across to the right. This is the chance for Belgium going into the wide channel. One-on-one defence from Samoa. He bumped out of one challenge for Murik. Ball's there again at the moment. Samoa, this has been one of their more disciplined phases, or at least periods in the game. Question is, can they continue that though, or will they jump the gun and get a little bit offside? What time is Ireland Springboks game? 6:40 a.m. New Zealand time is when that one has taken place, I believe. Samoa trying to get that turnover in the breakdown. Still 30 minutes remaining on the clock here. Now another big tackle from the Samoan defence. It hasn't lacked physicality, that is for sure. Really stupid from Belgium. They need to put pressure on Samoa on the scoreboard. It was close to the steal again. Now this looks like it is going to turn into a rolling maul. This ball's not going to come out for Belgium. It is stuck there. The ball goes down on the ground and Samoa, they will survive again from this Belgium attack. Oh, and you see 2 players there for Belgium collapsing. I think the fatigue's starting to set in. But can the Samoans do anything about it? And good pronunciation of the Belgium names. Says Haino there. Yeah, there were a few that I was very concerned about heading into the stream, but hopefully they haven't been too bad. Yeah, we saw 2 players for Belgium. They are just exhausted. Maybe frustrated too. The fact that they have had so many attacking chances and haven't managed to get through. Belgium look gas. Lots of effort for no points, says Justin. 5:40 South African time. So that would actually be 7:40 South African time. And now Samoa will cut loose and score some tries. Says Sonny, listen, that Dubai heat looking like it's affecting both teams, says Shakti. Yeah, very good point. The fact that this game's being played in Dubai, that heat factor, like they are feeling it. Bears need to hibernate, says Rugby Ready. But 29 minutes left. It feels like a long time for these 2 sides. And boxing the All Blacks laughing their asses off looking at this. Says Rugby Ready. How come? Like, as in because of the fact that they won't have to play one of these sides? I'll be honest, I think most of the New Zealanders and South Africans are probably concentrated on their games this weekend. Another penalty goes the way of the Samoans. Nothing wrong with mispronouncing a name. If you're not supposed or not exposed to them in New Zealand, how are you supposed to know, says Yanko? And that is where these streams have been so great, because you guys normally do help correct me when I do get them wrong. Let's go Samoa, says Aloy. And at this point, China will beat Samoa. Well, who knows? Hong Kong, China could be in the same group as Samoa if they did go through to the next stage of the Rugby World Cup. And isn't that a crazy sentence? We're saying that Samoa, if they win this game, have a chance to play Hong Kong, China, not the other way around. Because whoever wins has no chance in 2027. But I don't think either of these sides had a real chance anyway. You know, like, let's be honest. Like, Samoa, their best chance was 2023, where they caused a couple close games up against some great sides. But, you know, a lot of these sides aren't considered as big contenders, but there's certainly going to be competitiveness in the top 8. I would say. But now, backline movement. Lalomelo, another drop ball from Jacob Umanga. And they're going to go back. Oh, they are saying first it was the knock-on from Samoa before there was a potential deliberate knockdown. Belgium probably have never played back-to-back high-risk games like this in a tournament. Says Fleshin. And they need that Popeye sandwich. Spinach. And let's go Manu, says Aloy. And again, a terrible attack from Samoa. It's just it's an awful pass from Rodney on. He's put the man under pressure straight from the get-go. I think the only way Samoa score here is if they pretty much get gifted a try. This is not Samoa's top players. They're club players. Called the players back. Says Chuck D. It's still a pretty decent looking side though. You know, you've got Jacob Umang in that 15 jersey. Jonathan Tamatine at 9. In the 4-pack, Theo McFarland. Whether or not it's their best side, this is still a team that should be winning comfortably here, and would be if they knew how to catch a rugby ball. They need Umanga at 10. Yeah, I think they're going to have to make a little bit of a change. Umanga rigging the game. Tell you what, another penalty to Samoa at scrum time though, and Belgium may end up going to the bin here if they're not careful. Right, Jonathan Tamatine is doing something really stupid now. After Samoa already had a penalty reversed because of their own stupidity of trying to push and shove. In that scenario, we saw Rainier getting a little bit tempted by Jonathan Tamatine, which if he gets his penalty reversed, it would be one of the most idiotic things we've seen throughout this whole match. And there's been a few of them. Wherever their Miracle Fire Lunga was very good in Super Rugby, says AJ, yes. Samoa get an interception, they get a try, Belgium are exhausted and rather not have Samoa in the Rugby World Cup with the standard of rugby. Says DeClinic, or DeCinic, I should say, as the number 3 of Samoa in any way related to the Aussie version. So Scott CO, or you're talking, you'll be saying Michael Alalatoa. He is actually brothers with Alan Alalatoa. Okay, if there is another scrum penalty against Belgium, there is going to be more than likely a yellow card. This past weekend saw 14 yellow cards dished out in Tier 1. We saw TMOs in a majority of these games, which has led to copious amount of stops, 2 red cards, 1 permanent, and 1 20-minute. And something so stupid, I would kind of fit this game though, wouldn't it? Probably. And I can't hear the ref since I'm listening to you. Why is the penalty talking, or what is the penalty talking to for on the scrum? So pretty much just the front row of Belgium, they have collapsed multiple times under the pressure of Samoa. Do you blame the TMO or the players for constantly committing fouls? I think the players have to take responsibility. At the end of the day, the TMO can only go based off what they've seen. So if you don't want to be penalised by the TMO, don't give them something to penalise you for. Now thrown in Samoa. They are 22 metres out from the Belgian line at the moment. The ball is in the hands of Sama Malolo at the back. They're being told to use it once. They're trying to get this one moving. Looks like it's in the hands of Jonathan Tamatine. Now Lalomilo almost through, but not quite. This is the Samoan side's best chance, I would say, to score throughout the last about 30 or so minutes. Taleni Su putting in a step. It would be far too risky to go for any sort of offloads here, though. Now Nico Jones, inside ball. It's a good tackle by Belgium. They are physical in their tackles, and it has forced the ball out of the hands of Samoa multiple times throughout this contest. Now Tamatine, now trying to break through again here. Belgium defending well. They've got a player down, though, so really they're playing with 14 now. He's trying to get back up. It looks like it might be cramped. Another drop ball from Samoa, and they've lost it on attack once more, and now having to retreat back. It's a very good kick downfield, and the ball's gone into touch. Belgium has survived once again because of Samoa's inability to hang on to possession. And if Samoa miss out on the World Cup, you're only going to miss the Blue Sea fans-wise. And also, okay, it would be great if Alalatoa can play for Samoa in the next few years, and Belgium survives. There's rugby there. And how much time left? Still another 25 minutes. Right, I can hear the TMO there, but I think I heard the terminology no foul play. And Belgium can't win without knowing a set piece, but Samoa can't win without catching a ball. Says David there. Okay, there's no foul play. Belgium number 2 has pulled Taleni Su to the side. They have said, damn, Belgium did pretty good, says DMX there. And they're currently leading in this contest with the 24 minutes remaining. As Lalomilo passed that all in this match, feels like he just goes forward every time, says Justin. Yeah, there hasn't been a huge amount of variety here for Samoa on attack. Samoa says Ruby. As Samoa winning the match, they aren't. At the moment, they are down by 3 points with another 24 minutes remaining. Belgium are extremely fatigued as well, but Samoa can't make the most of it. They keep on dropping the ball. The underdog story is slowly becoming more and more realistic. We see Abraham Papali'i making his way onto the field for Patelo Mapu, who's had one of his most quiet games for the Samoans throughout these Rugby World Cup qualification matches. As Belgium score a try, I think they win. Samoa can't go 5 phases, says David. I almost agree, yeah. I think that because they've got that extra 3 points as well, you're in that scenario how if they score, they're up to 8 points in the lead. And I just don't know if we see Samoa making those points up in this game. And go AB22 and Mills 2, says Rita there. But no tries, no points in the second half of this World Cup qualifier. Still another 24 minutes left. So how many matches do Belgium need to win to qualify? This is the only match that they have to win from here. We are up to the last possible chance for all of these sides to make it through. What are the weather conditions like at the stadium? It is warm. extremely warm in Dubai. Now the step from Nico Jones. I'll be honest, he's been the X factor in this forward pack for the Samoans. Jonathan Tamatine kicks it downfield. Looks like he's hurt himself with cramp and he's kicked it out on the full. So I would say that he will... Oh no, he's got back up to his feet. It was just a poor kick from Tamatine. Winner of the match qualifies. How many Belgian players are professional? That'd be interesting. I'm not actually sure of their exact numbers here. Why does Jonathan fall over every time he passes a kick? Man, too dramatic. Says Robert T. And what do you think? Can Samoa win? Honestly, with the way that they're playing in this contest, I actually don't know. This has been, like, we've seen Samoa have some pretty poor performances throughout this year. This has to be one of the worst, if not the worst. And they've chosen the worst possible time to do it. And Tamatine is like, Ratama slows the squad down, and we got a new channel member as well. Miriama, thank you very much. You have now got access to those emojis. No extra time in this match. So if it is tied, Samoa would win on points table. That is true, yeah. Oh, nice steal there at the line out, almost there for the Samoans, but very nicely done by Belgium to be able to jump on it. Yeah, Samoa theoretically only need a draw here. But at this stage, that seems a long way away. They need a Roygaard type pace. Oh, that's going to be a big bump off. Samoa now in position, 35 metres out. They've got Connor Tupai off the bench as well, which I think might be an option. Guess what? Another drop ball from Samoa for their 57th time in this game. And it is going to be another scrum, although they luckily are going back for the initial scrum to Samoa. We're going to see Connor Tupai making his way onto the field now, and Ifme send the Samoan team home. I don't know what happened there. I think that one of the Samoan players decided he wanted to dodge the ball. I guess that's the best way of not dropping it. I never thought I would see such an awful pair of teams fighting for the last World Cup spot. 3 to 100 losses incoming, says Patrick. Yeah, if they don't play much better than this in the World Cup games, there could be some very one-sided affairs. And come on, Belgium, just hold. And is it raining? Is that where there was a lot of drop balls? It's humid for this game in Dubai, but like at the end of the day, these guys are professional athletes, or at least some of them are. I know that some of them are still considered as amateur, but like they should be hanging on to a lot more than they are in this game. And of course, that's very easy to say when you're not playing in the conditions that they are, but no, I think that both sides will look at this game afterwards and say we should have held that ball so much more. Now putting this ball in, Samoa's scrum. Oh, penalty to Belgium in the scrum. Samoa, I thought they were about to be on the verge of getting the Belgium front row a yellow card, but in this case, it has changed. Scott Seo is talking a bit of smack here with the Belgium fullback. I don't even know if they understand him. And come on, boys. They won the last two. Surely they can win this one. There's Rita. And also we have got there, a big stand in the scrum of Belgium. Huge scrum. Says Ano, yeah, going backwards in that scrum, but getting the penalty for Samoa angling. How is that penalty to Belgium? So, yeah, the angle of the Samoan front row is what they have pinged or been pinged for there. And who's playing their part? And they were getting pushed back, says Chuck D. Yeah, so we do see there deliberate angling from Scott Seo is the call against the referee. And they were getting pushed back, and wow, that is huge. And get those boys on the bench, or on coach, says James. And Belgium won the last 6 of 7 games. Says Rugby ready there. Now line out throw. 22 metres out from the Samoan line. Thrown in. Nicely taken. Now rolling more that as well. Sacked by Samoa. They get right over the ball. And now breaking down the wing. Taleni Seal puts the ball on the inside but gives it straight back to Belgium, who have got themselves the position 35 metres out now from the Samoan line. This is a hectic pace to be playing at in this type of heat for these two sides. Decision was because he angled in and he lifted him deliberately. Now going back line here. Best chance for Belgium to be able to get this one moving. Lalo Milo, I was trying to say there before I just started grunting, and it's going to be the penalty going the way of Samoa again. And Belgium so wasteful. And why did he offload that, says Robert T. I think he was trying to avoid the touchline. People forget Samoa players aren't just random. They are professional players playing top rugby teams in New Zealand, Japan, and France. No excuses, says DeCinic. Now, Right, there is going to be another stoppage here. Both of these sides do need a breather. I'm done watching. Well done, Belgium, on the win. How on earth did Belgium even manage to field a team after their entire population are on the field right now, says Shucks. And this is not all of Samoa's top players, says Chuck D. Yeah, but they should be doing better than this, shouldn't they? For this side, like I said, this has to be Samoa's worst game of the year, performance-wise. 27 degrees Celsius and 63% humidity. Says Haino, why is every time Samoa are in Belgium's half, they are under pressure, not the other way around, says Robert T. Right, Tuna Tuitama, he will make his way on. He is fresh at the moment. That is one bonus of bringing a player like him on. At 8 p.m., 27 degrees is crazy, says Haino. And yeah, you can tell from the way that both sides are playing that they don't want this game to be too open. You know, they wouldn't mind a few stoppages here and there just to slow it down. We see Renier taken off the field. That is for Tazia. Japan is definitely not a tier 1 nation, says Chuck T in there. But now looks like Renier is going to be helped off the field. It's had a pretty tough sort of matchup out there on the park. But we're into the last quarter of this matchup, ladies and gentlemen. About time Tuna comes in, says James. I think they were trying to leave it as late as physically possible to have him as fresh as possible. But now Samoa, they have got the line out on the 22. And tell us what will be result after the match. So whoever wins this game goes on to the World Cup. The loser, they will not qualify. How exactly would you define a tier 1 rugby nation? Says Justin, I feel like Samoa would win if Belgium caused themselves a mistake. Says Mark. And now thrown in by Samoa. Here comes a rolling maul. Belgium trying to defend it. They've got some big physical forwards out there on the field. This looks like Samoa's worst game in a very long time. I would agree. And they've had some pretty poor ones throughout 2025. It's certainly been a year to forget for Samoa, but they don't qualify for that World Cup. It could be the end for Samoa instead. Now Kona Tupai has to come on as a real impact type of player in that 9 jersey. Show what Tamatine should have been able to do. Big shot on Nico Jones. Tupai again going across to Papali'i. Can't quite get through. Pick and go now from Sama Malolo. Being told to release it. 10 metres out from the try line. Even if Samoa score now, I don't think this game is done and dusted, but it would certainly help them in the right direction. Now Scott Sio again with another pick and go. You get to 3 phases in and you're waiting for that next handling error from the Samoans. They at least have themselves the penalty advantage now. 10 metres out from the line. Sama Malolo tackled now. While under penalty advantage, this is an easy 3 points, but first now, Jacob Umaga goes across the Lalomelo. Lalomelo looks for the offload, finds Umaga. No look pass out to Taleni Siu. They're going to continue playing for a little bit longer. Pick and go from Tuna Tuitama with a bit of aggression there with the ball in hand. Let's go Samoa, says Cameron K. Let's go Samoa, says Madeline in there too. Now Nico Jones. Oh, it looks like another injury for Belgium. Pick and go from Scott Seo, the veteran. Their players down left, right and centre at the moment. Kona Tupai still under the penalty advantage. Popping it up now for Samoa. Now across Tupai goes to Roniona. Looks like one of the Belgian players may have actually almost knocked himself out. I think that was Hendricks. Now passed across towards the middle of the field. Just out from the goal line. Tupai passes it across. This is close for Samoa towards their first try of the matchup. Tupai again. They are still under penalty advantage. That looks over the line. And Samoa, 63 minutes into the game, finally score themselves the try long advantage here, although I think I heard them say just before that last phase it was another penalty advantage for offside, but it's Abraham Papali'i, the impact man off the bench, manages to score and Samoa take the lead back now in this game. Vamos Samoa, Pacific Power, and there they have it, says Aino, and keep going Samoa, says Katurvia. The lungs are going to be burning for both of these two sides, but it just is the case of who wants it more. Samoa, it's been a frustrating old day, but they've got in the lead now with the impact of Papali'i, Kona Tupai, Taleni Su. Those guys are making the huge difference at the moment for the Samoan team, and now they have to do it again if they want to secure this game. Okay, the TMO was saying there that there was an accidental boot to the head of the Belgian 11. A huge conversion upcoming. Need to know it. It has gone straight down the middle. It was in front of the stick, so it means that Belgium now cannot take an easy 3 to get the lead back in this match. Instead, they will have to more than likely attack a try, which they haven't been able to get as of yet. At the time, it's now Samoa. I think Samoa win, to be honest. Says, hey, no, I think that their bench has made all the difference at this point in time. But Belgium, if there's ever that stage to just dig that little bit deeper than they physically feel like they can, it is this stage right now. Because you're 15 minutes away from a World Cup. So you don't want to let it slip. Now nicely taken by Theo McFarland. And perhaps that one try is all that Samoa needed to feel like they are good enough to go on and win this game. Offload from Taleni Su to Sama Malolo. Player not rolling away for Belgium. The discipline starting to let this side down. Bounce pass on the outside for Tuna Tuikama. Or Tuitama, I should say, sorry. As he does cut back inwards. Still the penalty advantage. Big bump off from Abraham Papali'i. Connor Tupai almost through. 40 metres out from the line for Samoa. They've found their next gear. Now Lalo Milo goes on the outside. McFarlane with the offload. Breaking down the wing. Miracle Whaialangi. 22 metres out from the line now for Samoa. Tupai goes back across to the left. The crowd are starting to get louder now for this game. Thinking about the wide cutout pass. Trying it there. Is it a knock on from Belgium? I believe they're going, wait, where are they going back for the penalty here? This was a very long advantage in favour of Samoa, if this is where it was. Oh no, it's far side of the field. Okay, it is a different advantage against Belgium here. And it's starting to add up a little bit too much. Right, time is off here. Samoa have the option of going for the 3 points now. That would then give them the 7-point lead up against Belgium. But it looks like they are exhausted. I honestly think, oh, okay, Theo McFarlane said posts. And what's the verdict? They are kicking for the posts here. Now Samoa, in this scenario, they only need to draw with the Belgian side. So I feel like this is a bit of game management. And come on, Samoa, cheering you on from South Africa says randomly factual. Although I should mention, if Samoa had kicked for the corner and scored now, they would have secured the win guaranteed. But if they had missed that opportunity, then it wouldn't have been a guarantee at all. Now, Jacob Umaga, he's sitting at the moment, I believe, 2 from 3. Massive kick, says Ano. Yep, 41 metres out in front of the post for Jacob Umaga. Such a crucial one. We have got there, I betted 1 million rand on Belgium. Win will pay me 16,000. And that's a high kick. Misses there for Jacob Umaga. Of course, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but my choice was you should have gone for the corner. I think we're just now seeing why. Samoa get this and take it Samoa and miss, says Ano there. Who's Samoa's kicker? It's Jacob Umaga. He's had a terrible game as a whole. He has missed 2 kicks. He has dropped the ball 4 times in this contest, and every time he touches the ball on attack, it seems to slow down the Samoan speed that they're able to use. But now a big run forward from Abraham Papali'i. They've got the position back on the halfway line for Samoa, so still a chance of being able to get that attack going. Do see there, it's going to be Penny, who has made his way onto the field for Lalo Milo. I'm disappointed in you. Says Mohadin, why are you disappointed? Because I didn't put Pollard in my video, I assume you're talking about. Now ball on the outside. Step from Nico Jones. Needs Samoans in the World Cup, says Ruby there. Well, I got Casper, I'm on under 53.5. Well, you are guaranteed to win that one. Because this one's looking like it's going to be a struggle to get to 30 points for these two sides combined. Big tackle on Sama Malolo again. Now Rodney on, another advantage for Belgium. Being offside to Tuna Tuitama, but it's called as a forward pass. So they'll go back for the penalty. I was only ever going to be a Samoan win, although your original prediction was 60 plus points to Samoa to the 3 of Belgium. So I feel like a very different score from what you initially thought. Samoa winning at the moment. They're up by 4 points. Right, this one's 22 metres out from the line. I don't think Jacob Umaga can physically miss this one. Hey, Mr. Kiwi Sir, I wrote my last exam today. Says Manil, well, hopefully it did go well. And you were able to do everything that you needed. I think that was interesting. Connor Tapai, I believe, just asked the referee whether or not he would be willing to take the kick for Samoa. So obviously he thinks Jacob Umaga is going to miss this one. How has Apelo Maleko impact Samoa? He hasn't been that strong in this matchup, to be honest. He dropped the ball when he should have been able to score. Finally, I can relax a bit, says Mania. Exactly, should have put Pollard in your selection, you bad, says Bruce. Yeah, well, I just mentioned for my tactics, the way that I was planning on playing. Like, you put Pollard in if you're looking to close out a close game, but I'm planning at that stage to already have a big lead with the selections that I went with. Need this to get over. Or need to get this over, Has Jacob Umaga been good for Benetton? The crazy thing is he has been. He's actually had a couple very good seasons, but that kick does go over from Jacob Umaga. So the lead now for Samoa is 7 at this stage of the match. Is Samoa winning? At the moment, they are winning by 7 points. 13 points to 6. And it's over. Says Haino there. And you got the Zuso, says Aloy, and also 13 to 6. Although it has been all Samoa on attack. It's been that ill discipline of the Belgian side, and I think that is purely because of the fatigue that they are feeling. They finally woke up. Come on, Samoa. Now passed across Penny. I think that they've got their bench correct perfectly in this game, Samoa. Maybe that is just because Belgium are slowing down. All drop ball from Samoa inside of their own 22, taking a little bit of a risk trying to run this one out. If it ends really 7.5 to Samoa as a tie, really wins the game for them, says Justin. If it ends in a draw, is it extra time? No extra time. It is just a draw. And with a draw, it means that Samoa would go through to the next stage and make it to the World Cup. Now down the wing, Belgium in possession. Nico Jones making the tackle alongside Miracle Faialangi. This is a business end of the competition now. Oh, nice control there from Belgium. Looking for a 50-22. Almost got it. I think it's going to be just outside. We're hearing the TMO there. Okay, it was taken back anyway, so it isn't a 50-22. Anyway, in that scenario. Carried back by the Belgian side. There's a line out now. That's a 50-22. Surely it was taken back, so no 50-22 for the Belgian side here. Now we have got there, who would you pick to win in a bar fight? Eden Hazard or Roman Reigns? Samoa for the win, says Randomly Factual. Well-controlled game by Samoa, says James. I want a Belgium to win, I'm sad. Now this game's not over though. Belgium still have 9 minutes to be able to get 7 points and something in this matchup. And if they were able to do so, they can still win. Nico Jones, another knock on from Samoa. And if anyone is going to be able to create an attacking chance for the Belgium side, it is going to be Samoa in this game. Nice attacking run from the replacement 21 for Belgium here. That will be Wolrif. Now drop ball from Belgium too. Going back for the initial scrum for Belgium though. What games you're doing Saturday? We are going to be doing the New Zealand, Wales, South Africa, Ireland, Australia, France. I believe those are the three that are taking place on the Saturday for you guys. If it's a draw, would they both look at the team's points difference just to see who goes through? So because of the fact that Samoa have got themselves one extra bonus point from the group stage, it means that they would go through. So that extra point that they were able to get has been perhaps the difference for them in the scenario, but still very close and still plenty of time. Not Argentina, England. That game's taking place the next day, and we are also covering that alongside Scotland, Tonga. And go Manu Samoa, says Fa'a Fitai. That's extremely nice if Belgium win from a financial point of view for me, says Casper. And Samoa, this is your time to shine, says Ruby. Look, another drop ball, Manu Samoa, says Robert T. And that was their first time dropping the ball in quite some time, so I feel like that has been the reason they've looked a lot better in the second half. But the ball is going to be fed in by Belgium eventually. Now the push comes from Samoa, but it will not be their penalty. Belgium doing just enough, and they're now going off to the left-hand side. Another step coming in. Beautiful work from Remu, who goes close to the try line, just the 3 metres out for Belgium now. Pick and go from their number 22, and they're over the line. Belgium, surely that is on it. Referee is going to check this one, but I think that's a try for Belgium here. No decision from the ref just at this point in time. But that may be the try for Belgium. And it all came from a Samoan knock-on. We should let 32 teams in at the World Cup. I mean, all of the repechage teams still make the World Cup, and the format would still be the same. It says randomly factual. Right, so they're checking to see whether or not there is a grounding before it is held up for a second time. By the sounds of it, was the wording of the referee. Come on, Belgium. Says rugby ready. On-field decision is no try, says Haino there, and that was a good run. If he grounded that man, well done. Yeah, brilliant run. On-field is no try, but Matthias Remu almost getting through for Belgium. I've got to remember, Belgium are not the only fatigue side in this match. Samoa have been well and truly feeling it. They've had a lot of the ball as of late. As Samoa winning at the moment, they are up by 7 points. They're going to be checking this one to see if there is the grounding. Tell you what, it looks pretty good from one of the angles that they're showing. On field. Is that clear, conclusive evidence? I'm not so sure it is. It looks like it's very close. I don't know if they're going to have the angle to be able to show that it is clear and conclusive for this Belgian side. See, that's close, but that also does look... Oh, okay. TMO has said I can show that he has got to the line, and he's going to show an angle that shows that he's got the grounding in this scenario. And two Samoan players got their hands under the ball, says Chuck T, although the TMO has said he's found a grounding angle, which would overrule. Okay, they didn't find that angle, but the on-field decision is going to be overruled to try. And just want to say you've done a fantastic job commentating. Thank you for your service. Says Noah, thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. We've got plenty more coming. Of course, we're going to be covering all of that Rugby World Cup. But Belgium now get back into this game. This doesn't look conclusive, but it's a valiant effort. And yes, good commentary, brother. CC Styles in there too. And what you're watching on, I am watching on Sky Sport 1 here in New Zealand. But it is available on Rugby Pass TV. And deep breaths and go again. I saw a bit of the ball on the ground. Says Haino. And yeah, the TMO did say from one angle he could show that the man made it to the line. From the second angle he could show that the ball was grounded. He couldn't find that second angle the second time when he was looking for it. But he had seen it initially. So that was enough for the ref to overrule the on-field decision, a no try. And it has kicked over from Belgium. That is making the score now 13 points to 13. Well, this got exciting real fast, says Justin. And also we have got there, send it against Samoa. Come on, Belgium, don't let Europe down. And all because that idiot couldn't catch a clear offload, says Robert T. I will actually add to that. All because Samoa decided they wanted to try and attack from inside of their own 22, rather than just kicking it downfield and making Belgium attack from about 40 metres out. Now, the best case scenario for Samoa here, I believe, would be them kicking it as far downfield as they can. This is going to be an interesting last few minutes. Yeah, it's going to be next try wins between these two sides. Belgium taking it nicely inside of their 22. A great low tackle made by Tuna Tuitama. Agreed play territory. And what an ending, says Haino there. And who's the referee? The referee is the Welshman. I don't know his name, unfortunately. I think his first name might be Ben, but I could be wrong. Might be Ben. No, it's not Ben Breakspear. Oh, settled a dummy. Belgium breaking through again. Tell you what, he's waited till the final moments here, but Matthias Remu is starting to show off those skills that he has been able to show at times throughout the top 14. Although that was a knock-on, I think, from Belgium. They said initially off the knee, but I believe the prop, when he tried to regather, may have had a bit of a juggle of the possession. Come on, Samoa says, stay alive, boss. I will mention, if it is a draw at full time, Samoa go through. And now Jacob Umanga. He's going to kick this one into the Belgian 22. The mark is called. And they're looking to slow this one down that little bit more. This time it is Timothy Refon does take it, but at the moment Samoa, they've got themselves a good position on the field, having Belgium trying to attack from inside of their own half. What's the time at the moment? 76 minutes through at this point in time. Scoreboard correct. The scoreboard's actually wrong. Oh, there we go. It has just updated itself to 13-13. Samoa just need 3 points. I honestly don't know if 3 points is enough. I feel like Belgium may back themselves to be able to score late in this contest if given the chance, but Belgium now having to kick that one into touch. That is a huge boot there. Watch Samoa to stuff it up. Our referee is Craig Evans. And Belgium don't deserve to win, says Brian. I will be honest, I don't think either of these sides fully deserve to win this game. But at the same time, I would say that out of both of these sides, I would say that Belgium have been, because of how much of an underdog they are, they have been the one that would be more deserving in this scenario. But for Samoa, all they needed was a draw. And it looks like they are playing right for that draw in this contest. Update your clock time as well, please, says Romeo. So at the moment, it is sitting 76.5 minutes through in this matchup. So in the last 4 minutes of a game that is 13 points to 13. It's going to be nicely taken here. And that was nice work from Hendricks, who got right through the middle of this rolling maul. Samoa trying to free it up. I think Hendricks has got his hands on this ball, although it has now come out the back for Tupai. Big bump off there from Penne. A try and a conversion here for Samoa guarantees their win, because at worst, from there, they'll be able to draw, and that would still mean that they go through. Take it, Samoans. Says Ruby there. Ball is there again for Nico Jones. 77 minutes gone on the clock now. 3 minutes remaining. Rodney Ona is going to kick this one downfield and high. Has to make sure he doesn't get too much on it. Belgium calling for the mark again. Taking the tap. And now kicking this one towards the touchline. I don't think they've got enough time here to be able to play the tactics that they are at the moment, Belgium. They seem like they are too happy with a draw, not realising that a draw would actually mean that they miss out. Roses are red, says randomly factual, and Belgium deserve to win. Samoa keep dropping the ball. And take a Samoa, says Ruby in there. Is Samoa winning? The scoreboard is this one here. So 13 all at the moment between the two sides. And New Zealand stole too many Samoan players, says Brian 12. That one's going to be nicely thrown in by Samoa, who again set themselves in the rolling maul. They've been pretty handy in this department throughout the contest. Breaking off the back. Sama Malolo getting a little bit isolated there, and a big driving tackle on him around that halfway line again. Now, my question is, are Samoa going to go for an attacking play here soon? Or Belgium very close to getting the steal. It's a knock-on from Belgium first. Oh no, in fact, they're going to call it as a knock-on against Samoa rather than a knock-on against Belgium. Okay, TMO has overruled the referee and said there was a clear knock-on from Belgium first, which means Samoa get the scrum feed. But tell you what, that could have been a massive call. We've got to remember scrums have been a bit 50-50 throughout the second half, so Belgium could have been kicking a penalty to win in that scenario, but the big knock-on first from Belgium, then Samoa doing what Samoa have done best in this game, which is knocking that ball on. Stick together, Samoa, says Ruby, in there too. And come on, Belgium, says Hano, but now 90 seconds remaining. Big scrum coming up for Belgium, says David. Yeah, they can put absolutely everything into this. Samoa can't engage too early. Skills looking disastrous, says Hairstyles. Yeah, it's been one of the rougher games we have covered on the channel. Sadly, this is our first representation of Belgium on the channel. Our first ever commentary involving a Belgian side. And maybe the last, depending on whether or not they can get that big moment in the next 60 seconds. Samoa, big push. And they get the penalty in their favour. 1 minute of your life, Samoa, says Katurv. Right, there's a decision to make here. Jacob Umaga has not been accurate off the kicking tee. But if they decide to go for the post here, it means that he will have 60 seconds. And if he gets it over, it will end the game. If he misses, okay, Samoa are kicking this one for the corner in this scenario. So they have decided that Jacob Umaga obviously not going to have that distance to be able to kick the ball dead if he misses. So like they said, they're going as far into opposition territory as they can. It will be about maybe 25 metres out from Belgium's line. I wonder if Samoa know that they need a draw at minimum. You'd have to assume someone's told them. Because if they haven't, that's an absolute butchery of this one. But it looks like Samoa may still go for one last attack. But all they have to do is get this ball out of the field of play. It has ticked over the 80 minutes now. Samoa go into the front. It is a set rolling maul. If they put this ball into touch, they qualify for the World Cup. Samoa do it. A 13-all draw up against Belgium. That is something that no one was predicting for this game, but by the thinnest of margins, the Samoans will go on to the Rugby World Cup competition. Now it says Rugby Ready, how long left? The game is now over. Heartbreak for Belgium. They have shown that they can be competitive up against the side at that Rugby World Cup. Once again, you're an absolute jet. Says no, them 5% predicted the draw and they were bang on the money. This is not the first draw that Samoa have had throughout this year. Their first was up against Chile, but this one will mean that little bit more because it's pretty much the lifeline for Samoan Rugby Union. Sad into a sad game, says here Styles. Yeah, certainly not one that we'll be watching a replay of anytime soon. That is for sure. Way to go, Samoa, says Aloy. Thanks, Hamish. See you for Wales versus New Zealand. And also we have got there, so is win the match. So it's a draw at the end of this game, but the win for the Rugby World Cup qualification spot goes to Samoa. Full time, says Xander. It is indeed. The scoreboard doesn't want to admit it yet. It was probably hoping for a better finish. Then we got down Belgium, did really good, maybe next World Cup. It was better than Box Italy. Oh, I don't know. That one was... Yeah, it's definitely neither of them were great games. Let's be honest. But at the end of the day, it was a great game competitive-wise. You can see the tears for the Belgian players here. Like, to lose this game, or to draw this game, but to still not qualify is a tough one. And it is just due to what Samoa were able to do in their first two games. Getting those bonus point wins, that was the difference in the end. This game was won by the scrum, absolutely. Samoa's scrum were the one thing that kept them together in this contest. And also alongside that, I will say it wasn't the only thing because their bench, that was game-changing. Someone like a Taleni Sui had some great runs. Abraham Papali'i scoring the lone try in the game for Samoa. Connor Tupai changed the momentum of the match as well. Just seemed to have that little bit of extra pace that Jonathan Tamatine did not. And then Tuna Tuitama also doing some great moments out there alongside Sama Malolo. And there as well. Who was the underdog in this? Samoa were favourites by a country mile. Belgium were $10 underdogs heading into this match. But in the end, it was a draw. You couldn't split the sides. And the game is now over 13-13. Thank you, Hamish. Wonderful as always. And how is Hong Kong qualified? But not Belgium. Belgium is much more talented, says AJ. Yes, it just comes down to location a little bit as well. Of course, Hong Kong, China qualifying in the Asia part of the draw, whereas for the Belgians, they were a part of the European draw, so some tough sides already qualifying, the likes of a Romania, as well as Georgia and those type of teams too. We have good there, thanks H. Hear you on Saturday again, and thank you for the live. Long live Samoa Rugby, says Ruby there. And also we have got there, we Samoa better players, says Alls, and Samoa made it. And Samoa qualify, says Sorivero. They do indeed, yes. But I will mention, we've got plenty more coming up on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Can anyone give me one good reason why we can't have 8 groups of 4 at the World Cup? Not at all. I think that would work better than what they've got at the moment. I don't like the whole third place best, third place second best and all that going through. I feel like you would be better off, like you said, with the 32. That way more teams get that opportunity in the World Cup draw. But yeah, I don't think Belgium's going to be a mile away from that 2031 Rugby World Cup. I can tell you that right now because they have shown in this game, even in one where it was a struggle at times, they showed that they had that little bit of X factor and just that desire to keep on going. Third best thing is stupid. We saw it in the sevens. Says Hano. And also we've got the accept to the USA. And cheers, 9:30 a.m. Tuesday, California. Go the Eagles. Says Sunny there. But I will mention we have got a video coming out on the channel, ladies and gents, in an hour's time. That is going to be my All Black side that I would want to see go head-to-head with Wales. Recently, we had that one released of South Africa, and the side that I would like to see play up against the Irish. But yeah, we've got plenty more that is coming up on the channel over the next couple of days. Speaking of sevens, it's 2 weeks away. It certainly is. It's coming very close to when it is going to be starting up. We're going to be covering that on the channel as well. Who is your pick for Player of the Year? Or who is my pick for Player of the Year? See, it's a tricky one because in his respective positions, you'd say that Ox has to be right up there. But then I do think they're probably going to give it to... maybe... Would you give it to Peter Steff? I don't know. I feel like Ox it would be great to see him win it just because of the fact that props don't get those chances. Those nominations stink. Says Haino. In what regard? Is it like the certain players that you're not a fan of? I know Samoa with the minimum. Samoa wanted Belgium to qualify. Says Orlando there. And Ireland, Australia, New Zealand. And also Samoa did not deserve to win. Well done, Belgium. They are the real winners. A breakthrough should go to Fabian. Says Robert T. Yeah, it's going to be competitive, that Breakthrough Player of the Year nomination. Or at least that category. Are you planning to be out in Australia for the World Cup and making content for the channel? I am not. We will be doing the content on the channel, though, just not in Australia. We'll be doing what we did for that last World Cup in 2023. I'm happy Samoa have gone through. That's hard on Belgium. Yeah, to be so close for the Belgian side, that hurts more than losing, I believe, in this game by 50 points. Because if you lose by 50, you go, okay, we weren't quite there. But they were right there for the 80 minutes here, Belgium. So it will sting for a while, but they may be able to use it as more motivation. Artie deserved a nomination along with Sasha. And Samoa back, what a result. Says Brian there, as much as I like to see Ox win it, Peter Steptoy deserves a third. Says Yanko. And they fought so hard, man. Says Rugby Ready. Also 13-13 is a pretty bad scoreline overall. Yeah, 6-3 at halftime. Going into the second half, I think others had better year than them. Says Haino there, and also well done Samoa. Says Coco Samoa. And there as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, like I mentioned, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel because we've got plenty more coming up over the next couple of weeks, including international rugby this weekend. Belgium get no games next year. They are not in the second division Nations Cup. Yeah, and that is one big thing for Samoa as well, that they've been able to qualify for that one. Knows his first Afrikaans swear words. I know many of them because I do get sworn at all the time on these live streams. Best test of the year. Says Brian 12. And cheers, see you on the weekend, says Robert T. And there too. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for watching. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Anyone just tuning in now, Samoa, because of the draw, they qualify for the Rugby World Cup in 2027. And Belgium, sadly, they do miss out. But thank you all very much for being here. And I will see you all for the next one.